Well, luckily, I'm not someone who forces things. I believe in working smarter, and part of that ability to work smarter also has to do with recognizing when it is your time to do something. So, while I could have started on this earlier, in fact, I did at one point, I quickly realized that I was actually skipping steps in my becoming process. So I put it on the back burner and came back to it when it was time to do so. I took a lot of cues. I'm always taking in information, and eventually got to the point where I recognized, okay, now's the time. So if I wasn't doing this right now, I'd actually be doing nothing. I'd be withering away, and that is something that I just cannot have. I'm not really someone who enjoys the idea of just not doing anything when I know there are things to be done. So, yeah. Ooh, a dreaded question. Well, these days I've been waking up super early, technically on purpose, but it kind of just turned out that way. So by that I mean I don't sleep in when I wake up at this time, usually anywhere between 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And I decompose in the morning, and then I decompose, yeah, essentially. And then from then on, I get a bit of work done in the morning, and then I eat, and then I continue to work until I can't. And then I relax in the evening, and that's usually how my day goes. Regarding what it is I work on, it completely depends. I'm in the process of building a very big foundation, and by foundation I mean that metaphorically. So I have a various amount of to-do lists for any given project, and they kind of all interlink with one another. So I finished the first leg earlier this year, and it took me around to coming and working on the second leg of this. Is this a tripod or a bipod? There are a myriad of songs, mostly because most of these memories are like early childhood brushes with whimsy and wonder. So I think there are a couple of songs actually that fall into this category. The first one would be Keep Your Mind Wide Open by Anna Sophia Robb. There is something about that intro and the bridge even that just absolutely send me. Like, I remember being a kid and hearing that song and just feeling like I could fly. I'm sorry, even just the title, Keep Your Mind Wide Open, was just so appealing to me. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I felt seen, but that was a sentiment I could get behind, a mantra that I could live by. Keep your mind wide open and notice everything. That was another one. That's not a song, by the way, it's a mantra. So that one. Another one, though, is the Barbie as Rapunzel theme for the exact same reason. So I started writing music when I was 9, but I started journaling when I was 6. So I'd been sort of flexing my pen for a couple of years before really, creating anything per se. But just the idea that I could touch something creatively, the idea that there was a physical attribute to this sort of ephemeral aether that danced in and out of my life, both, when I was awake and when I was asleep, and something that, it was almost like a curtain in a breeze, something you couldn't ignore. It was very clearly moving and moved by something, and even as a child, I found myself grasping, trying to figure out what that wind was. And those two songs in particular really sort of emulate the sentiment that I had towards perceiving my life and my surroundings, and yeah, it just very, very important. Oh gosh, what is so sad? I can't think of one off the top of my head, and it's going to completely bother me. Honestly, all of the songs that I'm thinking of, they have a saxophone, and saxophones are considered woodwinds. I do like horns, so I'm not sure why I can't think of anything. Honestly, anything from the big band era, I mean, but I feel like that's a cop-out answer, but I don't care. I'm gonna say that. Horns are actually amazing. I don't think I've listened to anything with a good horn section in a hot minute, so I honestly don't know. Maybe at some point I'll have an answer to this question, but don't count on it, because honestly, I'm living my life. Am I missing something? Is brunch a divisive thing? How come I never knew this? You know what? I'll know why, because it doesn't matter. I've never broken a bone, but I have fractured a bone. I fractured my thumb. And you know what's so sad? I can't even remember which thumb it was, if it was my left or my right, but it must have been my right. No, maybe it was my left. I honestly don't remember. I fractured it whilst playing volleyball, which was one of my favorite sports growing up. I did not know second string.